This is a social studies lesson for Thursday, May 14th. The items that you will need are your celebration magazine, the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. worksheet, a pencil, and crayons. Make sure that you have all of these items before continuing. Press pause, gather all the materials, and then go ahead and press play and continue. Right now, you should be looking at page 4 of your social studies magazine. At the top, it says Celebrating Heroes, right there, Celebrating Heroes. Below that, it says, in February, we celebrate 2 heroes. Well, every February, we celebrate 2 different heroes. One of those is George Washington. Right? I know you remember talking about George Washington early in the year, and he was the first president of the United States. Okay, he fought to make our country free. Right there it says he was our first president. I'm sure you remember talking about him. Remember when we were passing around money and we showed that he is on the dollar bill over here, and he is also on the quarter. And we talked about how there were different places that honored him. There's different things in America that honored him. One of those was the fact that Washington was named after him, and that we also have this beautiful statue over here, or building, I guess you could call it. It's called the Washington Monument. Okay, and these are other things that are there for us to honor him or to celebrate George Washington. But in February, we always celebrate this man on President's Day. And him and one other man, which we'll get to on the next page. Hold on just a minute and I'll meet you over there. All right, now we're looking at page 5 of our Social Studies magazine, and I'm sure that you remember this man over here. A lot of times we saw him with his hat on, if you remember, and this man is Abraham Lincoln, okay, and he was the 16th president of the United States. Abraham was president when people in our country were fighting, and he helped keep our country together. Okay, we honor George Washington and Abraham Lincoln and all presidents on President's Day, okay? But especially presidents like George Washington and Abraham Lincoln, who did so much for our country and changed our country and paved the way for the rest of us. Other ways that we've honored Abraham Lincoln are by statues. We also have the Lincoln Memorial, and which is the building right here, and these are some of the statues that are in there. And just to show you the size, look at the little boy standing in front of it, and look at how big that is. It's humongous, right? It's incredible. And we also know that Abraham Lincoln is on the what? That's right, he's on the penny. All right, so let's go find out about another American that we celebrate every year for the wonderful things that he's also done for the United States. Now you should be looking at pages 6 and 7 of your Social Studies magazine, and I'm sure that this looks very familiar because not too long ago we were discussing this man, or I should say Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And he had, or he wrote a famous speech. And do you remember how that speech began? That's right, I have a dream. All right, so we don't celebrate him in February. We celebrate him in January, actually, because that's when his birthday was. And I'm sure that you remember talking about him. You guys gave me a lot of good information. In fact, we even did our Black History Month presentation on Dr. Martin Luther King. So I'm going to read here right underneath where it says, I have a dream. It says, Martin Luther King Jr. helped make changes for many people in our country, and we honor him on his birthday. Right down here. Martin Luther King Jr. had a dream. His dream was that all people would be treated the same. He worked his whole life to make that dream come true. Remember, he spoke, he fought. He fought with what? With his words, that's right. He helped make a law, and that law said that everyone had to be treated the same. Another thing that he did was he won something very, very important with all the work that he did, was something called the Nobel Peace Prize. And you have to be incredible. Not everybody gets this. Not anybody. You have to be very special and do something extremely special to get the Nobel Peace Prize. So let's move on to the next page, and we will take out our Martin Luther King worksheet and move on to that. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. wanted all people to be treated equal, and he worked in peaceful ways. Because of that, he won the Nobel Peace Prize. All right. The Nobel Peace Prize it's kind of like a medal, okay? But it's a very special medal that you are awarded for doing something that only somebody very special can do. Now, on the right side of your paper, that's the worksheet that you have. All right, and there's Dr. Martin Luther King and his wife when he was accepting his medal that you see in his hand right there. And on the left of the screen, I've showed you exactly what the medal looks like. So you can go ahead and color that picture. And then on the bottom, I want you to copy the name of the prize that, or the medal that Dr. Martin Luther King won. It begins with an N, the second word begins with a P, and the last word begins with a P, the Nobel Peace Prize. And if you look up in the top right there, I'm highlighting it, you can find the words that you need to write right there. Once you're finished, go ahead and color the picture. I want to see nice coloring, no scribbling, make nice small lines. And then once you're finished, that's all for social studies today.